Hi all. Right, that was my last four cards. Again, just a glance. Because I've been thinking about what I might want to do. I mean, this is for the 7th Armoured or the 82nd Airborne. 82nd Airborne are a couple in Rochfort, one in St Hubert. There's also one up in Havilange with that 5th Corps unit. But, I started thinking, well, there and we could move them a bit. But don't really. We want to just protect the VP towns that they're in. The 7th Armoured units are up here. I mean, we did have an attack last time on that unit, didn't we? And this first SS unit came along to support, but that was with both these. I mean, we could potentially have an attack maybe on this guy, I suppose. We'll not be able to play combat tactics, but I was actually thinking we still have this one unit in the reserves, and that card does enable us to deploy it. Deploy one 18 core reserve unit. So that's exactly what we've got in the reserve unit box. So I'm tending to think that would be the best move with that card. The two 12 core cards, I do want to make this move down here. My worry is, to try and rescue this guy by putting one of the infantry units here and one of them there. My worry is that then leaves that dispersed unit on its own in the town, although I suppose I could move the armoured unit in with it, but then that's moving out a VP town. Is that clever? Probably not. I mean, the dispersed unit's going to be sitting in the town by itself if I move the two infantry units out. So I'd kind of want to do that maybe as late as possible. So I've still got a load of cards left. Yeah. I think deploying that unit is probably the best use of that division card. I mean, it's just one unit, okay. It's not got a division itself, this unit. So it would just be able to be deployed within 3 of a core unit, and there's plenty along there in the west that we could get placed, I think. That's probably the best place for it. Then the next day, once we get the 18 core activation card, we can. Again, we're still defending anyway, aren't we? So. Okay, just some of my thoughts. I'll go and decide what it's going to be. Okay, yeah, I think this is the best use for this card. So there's the unit there. There's an elite infantry unit. So, I figure we've probably got enough down this area. So I might put. I was thinking about maybe in this town here, O'Hay. He would be within 3 of, there's 82nd core unit under there, so he would be within 3 of that. The deployment lines there north, so plenty of space. That would be in supply, and it's more than 3 away from a German unit. So, yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Just feels like it's a wee bit, there's not as many units up here. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with that. Right, nice and simple there then, I suppose. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've got 2 of the 12 core cards, and combat tactics wise, one of them's an artillery, one of them's a reinforced battle. Yeah, I don't know. I want to leave it a bit later before moving the units down the south, just because that guy's dispersed, but... Right, well, we'll get around to that anyway. Right, let's see what the Germans have got for us next. Okay, here goes. Oh, okay, there's a division card for the second SS. 58th. Right, so that's going to be the primary card. This is going to be the secondary card. Sorry, the support card. It does have the event. It's a consolidation. That's going to repair points. It does look like they've got an option. I see a unit in Manhay that's reduced, and did we not disperse and damage one of the units too? So, yeah, I think that event's going to trigger then. Give me a sec. Okay, yeah, consolidation event is going to happen. This unit here, let's say selector number 24 is reduced. This one that's dispersed is unit 23, it's reduced as well. Now it's dispersed. There's a restriction to that. Well, even if there is, it does say that if there's more than one, if there are more reduced units in a German core than available replacement steps, we're only replacing one step here. And that is the formation on the command card, not the support card. That's explained in the event. And we assign replacements to units in descending order. So we're starting with the highest numbered reduced unit. So it would be this unit in Manhay. So I don't really need to look at it. I don't think dispersal does restrict them from taking a replacement. But you know what? Why not have a look at that? Give me a sec. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just supply issues that obviously wouldn't enable you to replace. I don't think dispersals would become an issue. And the one thing we do need to be able to trace reserve German supply with that. But there is no issues. No, there doesn't seem to be any issues for the German supply. Unfortunately, I'm not playing the game maybe how I should. Okay, so, well, at least that's a division card of the second SS, but remember we shuffled in the core card, one of the core cards, wasn't it? I think it's a primary one. So that's still going to come out again. Okay, so then we move on to the command card. So we've not got a support card anymore, but we're going to activate the 58 core. And obviously this guy's just taking a replacement. Mind you, he's in Manhay. Is he likely to move? Nah. Well, maybe, because we've got some units round about Manhay now. Nah, maybe not. Okay, I'll get things set up and have a look. Right, okay, we've got this infantry unit back here, and they're quite spread out as well. We've got this unit here, this one in La Roche, this one in Manhay, and then we've got this dispersed unit here. So all he's going to do is remove his dispersal, which isn't a bad thing because they might well be activating again. I get the feeling that's the first core card for the 58th. I could be wrong, and I could look in this card pile, but I'm not going to bother. Okay, so there's no roadblocks adjacent to any of the units. Any bridge situations? Oh, that's something I tend to forget about. This one's already adjacent to the bridge, this one's fine. Right, so no bridge situations. Right, so just going to look and see if they're going to make any movements. I'll get back to you. Oh, and yeah, their army objective marker is here, so there's not a unit proximate or within 2 yet as well, so it stays put. Okay, the first one I've found is cause surround. Move active non-bracket units each to a hex if occupied by a unit would cause one or more allied units not surrounded to become surrounded. Well, look at this unit coming down and surrounding Bastogne. He's still got an out hex here. So, in actual fact, he can go 1, 2, 3 into there surrounding, but he could also go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 into there because these hexes been clear, which would surround as well. So it wants to make sure that they can't trace supply. Well, each one of these hexes prevents supply being traced. So then looking at the tiebreakers, 9.22, closest to army objective. Well, you know what? Aye, that actually is closer. I was thinking it's westernmost, and that's what the compass is on the army objective. But that hex is actually closer. So now, can we? Let's look at possible restrictions being broken. Can we go another way? I don't think there's only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you? Is that classed as a move, really? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't go over that bridge and round. If this is my target hex, the only thing you could do is go 1, 2, 3 to put a detachment here. 4, 5. It feels a bit gamey, that one. Yeah, it kind of does feel a bit like messing about with the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you know what? It says go through the highest hold value hexes possible if there's more than one route. Is that a route going back on yourself? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do it. Let me know your thoughts, guys, with that one. Does feel a bit meh, but yeah, whether it's right or not, I'm not so sure. However, he's in the right hex, so whether this detachment should be here or not, I don't know. He's in the right hex. Okay, let's move on to see if I can find something else that'll move. Okay, this is quite an interesting one. So I'm wanting to move my methods 5 to 9. So we've only got the 1 infantry unit. He's up here. If you remember, this other unit came and reinforced the battle. I think he was involved with holding these units surrounded. But because that first SS unit's there now, he does have the chance to move away. So I'm looking at move adjacent to an allied unit or town. Infantry move adjacent to allied unit or town to which no non-bracket German infantry unit is adjacent. So there's already another infantry unit adjacent to these both units. So because the second part of this, if it's the only non-bracket infantry unit, he just stays where he is and his movement's considered complete, isn't it? But that's not the case. But I just noticed this town, as far as I'm aware, is still Allied controlled. Yeah, I would have had a control marker on it. So, and there's not an infantry unit adjacent to this town. So, in actual fact, this guy can break away 1, 2, break in zone of control, and 3 into there, I think, moving adjacent to that town. Meaning it's still across the river, but that's all it says is infantry move adjacent to Allied town, Allied unit or town to which no non-bracket German infantry unit is adjacent. So yes, and I don't think he's breaking any restrictions. Like I say, these units are still surrounded because this first SS unit moved in there. The Piper's holding this hex still. So yeah, I think that was okay. So we've got 2 more armoured units to look at, but they're both in Victory Point towns. The one in Manhay, the one in La Roche. Obviously, this guy's dispersed. All he's going to do is remove his dispersal. That's good enough. So we'll just have a look and see if there's going to be restrictions with him moving. Yeah, so on to 10 to 13. So we're looking at this one in La Roche first. And I thought he might have been able to make a move, but Just take him out of there and having a look. If he wasn't there, you can see that Allied Supply, might want to zoom out a little bit there. Allied Supply can just be traced one. Remember, we can trace through detachments, so in fact, Allied Supply is traceable on that road, through the roadblock and away. So he can't completely move away, but could he maybe move here? Well, no, because it can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't think he can move anywhere, no. So he can't move the arrows, can't move close to his army objective, and can't infiltrate, can't move adjacent to an allied unit, because he's going to be breaking the restriction and leaving that town with allied supply traceable to it. So the last option is going to be Manhay, so just give me a second. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with Manhay. It's tricky with all you're looking at detachments and you think it's all closed off, but you're forgetting about detachments. I mean, even if I was able to move him here, which would be 1 hex closer to his army objective. Oh, actually. Yeah, no, that might work actually. So, right, well, I couldn't move him on further because he can trace 1, 2, and then onto that road and away. But if I did just move him here, which would be 1 hex closer to his army objective, is allied supply traceable to that town? I'll zoom out a little bit. Like, no, it's clearly not. The town is still surrounded, isn't it? Yeah, it is still surrounded. But if he moves, well, we already decided as soon as you move one more hex, then there's a problem. So he could do that, move closer to the army objective, movement method 11, and it is moving on 1 hex closer. Yep, it's not breaking any restrictions like we've said. So then we leave a wee detachment in the town. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all good. So, and then we decided unit selector number 2 couldn't move. And then, so, is there going to be any considerations for attack? Oh, no reserve units. Well, the only unit that could be considered would be the one outside Bastogne. Yeah, I don't need to look at that still because we've got too much strength in Bastogne. Although that's them all now surrounded, so might need to see about that. Just starting to think, wondering about the 10th Armoured units maybe having an attack. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be 4 against 12 in there, and there's no assault, there's no support cards at all, so it's not as if we can include the 47th units. And that was the only one to look at. The other units didn't move adjacent anyway, so yeah, not a lot more to do. We can't remove any reserves. The only unit that didn't do anything was this guy, but he's on his own and he's obviously restricted to move anyway. But what we can do is, the last part of this is he can remove his dispersal. So that's it. So that's a German impulse over, and they use the support card already for an event. So we're moving on. Yeah, starting to see the German pile going down now. There's more quite a lot more discards than not. Okay, I'll make a wee cut again here and I'll come back with the next Allied Impulse shortly, guys. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, quite late at night, just finished work, so might not be here for too long. Probably going to keep my voice down a bit, it's quite late. and I'm pretty weary, so I probably shouldn't be doing anything, but I felt like sitting down, and a couple of things came up. I was watching the last bit I had recorded, well, the last upload, what was it, 19.4 I think it is, part 4. It was a couple of wee things. I noticed I hadn't left a detachment in that hex when I reinforced battle with that first SS unit. So I was about to make a note of that, and then I realised it was adjacent to the map edge hex, which you don't place them there. So although I didn't realise that, I did get it right by not leaving one there. But then I also, when I advanced after combat with that unit there, I left a detachment in that west wall hex, and that is adjacent to map edge hex, so it shouldn't be there as well. And the one other thing that I noticed, and this is just in the last recording, this is just where I finished off, to be honest, so I didn't bother adding anything to it, but I believe when this unit moved from Manhay, tell me that just now. Oh yeah, no, there was something else that I thought about as well. Because of the whole leaving this town ally supplied, I said I couldn't move it further west, and that's true. I can move it to that hex safely. What I initially realised was that I could actually have went 1, 2, 3. Again, this whole route thing about capturing detachments. Could I have done anything? No, I don't think I could have done any more than that, but it would have allowed me to put a detachment here. So I initially thought about that, and then I realised afterwards, could I actually end up with it there? Because this would be just as close to my army objective, but the compass direction's west, so that one's slightly further west than what that one is. And I think I could do that, because 1 and then 4 more movement into there. And I don't believe that allows supply to be traced. Because, yeah, like I say, if I ended up there, then yes, he could trace supply. But this hex is still safe as well. So there's one hex further west. Like I say, it's one hex closer to its army objective than what that one was. And it's slightly further west of this hex. So I think that's where he should have ended up. Okay, so we'll be on to an allied impulse. I've got the 2 12 core cards and a no command that can give me engineers. So I had been thinking about a few options, obviously. Maybe just went over this recently, so maybe not harp on about trying to go and rescue that unit. The other thing was the fact that these are now trapped. Could I possibly make an attack? I think I might be tempted to give this a go by activating the 12 core units, doing my wee move down here to hopefully try and rescue that guy. Maybe having an attack, I was thinking on the infantry unit here. Now I think I've got 12 strength, well, I've got 8 strength, but I could also reinforce the battle with that, making it 12. So it would be 3 to 1 odds. 3 to 1 odds, 1, 2, 3. And that would be only 4 chip pools admittedly, but something, I guess. And the fact these are now going to go in low supply, you know, if I can manage to maybe retreat that guy, then I can get supply back, you know, stay in supply, should I say. But what I also thought, the Germans still have a bunch of cards, and 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I've only got 9, it's not. But I still haven't used my activate any one unit of the day. So I was thinking about maybe just passing. Well, the thing is, if I use the 212 core cards, one to activate the units, one to reinforce the battle. To be honest, I could maybe chuck engineers, and that wouldn't help either, would it? But anyway, if I do that, I'm not going to be able to activate any one unit because the no command card doesn't let me do that. So I was thinking about maybe passing, letting the Germans have an impulse. I mean, there's risks with that, I suppose, as well. Things could change here, or possibly change down here. I think I'm going to do that though. I think I'm going to just pass this first time and just have a look and see what they do. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to let the Germans have an impulse now. Right, almost changed my mind and took that one back, but I'm going to let it go. We're going to take a chance and have a pass. So Germans get... Yeah, they're feeling the first SS might be... Oh, it's 2 division cards. Okay, so... Now we're past the 18th, it's only the 17th and the 18th that this card has that exception where it automatically becomes a command card. So... No primary cards. This has got the higher command value, so this is going to be the command card, and this will be the support card. Yeah, okay. There's no event on this card, so we're going to look at this card. That's on the 21st, we're not there yet, that's special. So we're going to activate the 3 PG division. They're the units that just got brought on. There's just 2 of them, obviously, from the 67 Corps. So I think they're both in the same hex. Okay, I'll have a look. Yeah, so it's the 2 units in here. They've got a first SS unit underneath as well. So we're going to activate the 2 units. Their army objective marker is still staying where it is, and they've got the core objective. But again, there's still allied units within 3 of that, so that's going to stay there as well. So, but this could be interesting because they're wanting to move with a core with 9.23. The core objective movement. Move each unit toward an allied unit within 3 hexes of the core objective marker. So, 2, 3, that's not... Sorry, I'll just zoom out a little bit there just in case. These 2 units are obviously within 3 of this, and I think that's it. Yeah, this guy's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's just outside. So these 2 are wanting to move adjacent to one of these. If there's more than one, move to the nearest, then the easternmost. Well, this one's going to be the nearest, so that's where they want to move towards. I should be doing this in ascending order, so it's unit number 1 on the top there. There's 3 steps in there. I think this hex is going to be... Yeah, there's 5 steps in that hex. So none of them are going to be able to move in there. And there's only one of them going to be able to move in there. This is a queer hex though, so hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. In actual fact, one could get down here. Well, they could both get down here. Okay, I'll not bore you with my thoughts. I'll go and find out first. Okay, yeah, so they can either move here or here, and when it comes down to tiebreakers, what's an unoccupied hex? before the occupied. Well, actually, it wants to cause the allied unit to become surrounded. Well, the unit's surrounded already, so that's not a concern. And then it wants an unoccupied hex. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 into here. I think 1, 2. Yeah, okay. So he's going to move into there, and then the other one, well, there's not an empty hex for him now, so then he's wanting to move to the easternmost hex, which in actual fact is going to be that one as well, isn't it? Slightly more east of that. Yeah, in fact they are both going to move into the same hex. Yeah, I don't think there's any restrictions being broken there. Okay. Okay, so now to determine if they're going to attack, we have, it's a combat engineer's combat tactic, we have as a support card, so no assault coordination, no reserve units. So we've just got this 9 strength, isn't it? Yeah, 9 strength. Now they do actually, when they're here, have 2 options, but I think we looked before, because this guy's in a forest, he's slightly better off than that guy, because they're both 3 strength. Yeah, okay. So it's 9 against 3. He gets a +1 for the IP, so 9 against 4, and then gets a -1 for low supply, so he's 9 against 3. So the odds are 3 to 1. So there's a good chance of the attack. Odds are 3 to 1. Is there any modifiers? Well, the defender's elite anyway. It's not activated. Right, support card shows applicable combat tactic. Well, yes, because combat engineers is going to increase their strength by 1, but not only that, it's going to remove the IP. So it's definitely applicable. So there's a -1 to the die roll with 3 to 1 odds. Okay, so 3 to 1 odds with a -1. Ooh, right, that kind of landed flat, but it is a 1. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I tried. I know it kind of just fell out, but well, that's going to go ahead, isn't it? Because that'd be a 0. Yeah, attack proceeds, do not cancel. Right, okay. Okay, so attack's going ahead. So let's draw combat tactic. Right, 7th Army card. Well, I suppose that's quite good to get that out of the way. So that could have moved a bunch of units down the south there. Okay, so it gives artillery and assault coordination. Oh dear. That guy's in a whole lot of trouble now. Right, now I might need to check the odds here because, no, maybe not. So when does the overwhelming, yeah, this is where it would not use a combat tactic if we had happened to have an overwhelming attack, which is 9 to 1 odds, 7 chip pools, I think. I'll double check that just now. Let's just, so if we're getting assault coordination, these guys are going to attack 2, and these guys. So at the moment, what do we actually have? So that was 9. Then we've got another 7, 16, 18, 19. So it's 19 to 3. Well, it's not as big as I thought, is it? 6-1 at the moment. 19-3. Yeah, so 6-1 odds. So that's not well. I'm just double check that overwhelming attack. Yeah, no. So sorry, I'm reading that wrong again. I think I've been mixed up with this before. If the overwhelming attack applies just to the support card's combat tactic, or if it actually applies to the combat tactic. Well, it actually just applies to when you're drawing the combat tactic. Well, which would then include the support card, because it says German overwhelming attack. If a German attack has odds of 91 or greater and qualifies for a large attack, which is 7 or more combat chits, do not draw a card for the attack and do not apply the support card's combat tactic to the attack. So it would actually have to be before we drew for this combat tactic if the odds were 91. So it does look like we're going to use the combat engineers as well then. This army card definitely doesn't have combat engineers on it this time, John. Yeah, it was a sloppy one that last time. So that's going to bring combat engineers, which is going to remove that and add one more strength to them. So that's going to give, excuse me, where are we? Yeah, so it's 20-3, so it's not increasing the odds, but it has removed his IP. And in addition, I wouldn't be able to play engineers on that unit if I could, but I can't because he's in low supply. So no combat tactics for me. So the odds are still 6-1. So let's get the chip pools now. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units that can take a chip. Remember this one's bracketed, so it can't. So 5, and then we've got 1 for a 3-step unit, 6, 1 for elite, 7, 1 for combat engineers is 8, and then artillery and assault coordination is 10. So another big battle here. Yeah, looks like they've got a good chance of taking this guy out as well, I think. Okay, I'll go and get the 10 chits, see what we get. Okay, so 10 chits and they all apply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they all apply and I don't need to count all that up. Yeah, I mean, they're going to end up with A1, but I'm pretty sure there's unfulfilled hits. Well, they've also got assault coordination as well, yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to take this guy away and put him in the bin. Yeah, that's a kind of massacre again, isn't it? 2 more units in eliminated units box, which means 1 more victory point. 33 they're on. Okay, so advance after combat now. The assault coordinated units can't, so it's just the 2. Yeah, it'll just be the 2 units that we activated. Now that is an other route, and it's not closer to their army objective. They're right on their core objective, but it's not. So I don't think they're going to move into that hex. Give me a sec. That one's another route this time, so they're not going to advance at all. I think that's going to be that. Yeah, that's that. So these 2 cards go away. These were the 2 combat tactics. Obviously this was the support card got used as well though. So that's our impulse going to be over. It was just the 2 units, so nothing else to do there. Right, I'll get them tidied up and see if I'm going to carry on with an Allied Impulse. Right, I'm still pondering on if I should play these 12 core cards yet or not. The Germans still have 6 cards. Their draw pile, I was thinking about, right, I better not tempt fate, I better play them now and do it now, but I'm just worried that I could pass again. It's taking a bit of a risk, but I don't want to do this and have no cards in my hand, and then all of a sudden they do something that I could do with an any one unit move. Am I likely to be really needing that? I don't know. Maybe, you know. I can't see any situation where I would desperately need to move one unit somewhere, but you know, you never know. And I think the fact they've got 6 cards, I could let them have another impulse, and then I could play all my 3 cards at once and just add the the no command for combat engineers, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a go at this guy, so it would add another chip pool to that. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut this video and then I'm going to pass. I just want to cut this just now because if we get a German impulse going again, it might start. That's 22 minutes on this, so I'll cut this one just now and I'll be back shortly, guys. Okay, cheers.